So what is while that's happening, what would the hells look like to Ardreth as he's drifting in? What is hell to Ardreth?
So the interesting thing about hell as Ardreth starts to float through the first planes is that the idea of him being there doesn't seem foreign. Almost like he kind of knew this is where he'd end up after the things that he had done. And so starts to look around as he's floating through the layers of hell, thinking in the first plane that he's unlikely to recognize anybody here, but starts to realize that he may face some old faces the further down he goes. And it's a mix of anticipation, dread, fear, and kind of a lust for revenge.
Awesome. All right. So Jarral, are you gonna? What are you doing?
I'm not sure. I think I missed the first part of that. I had myself deafened.
Yeah. A stable boy ran over to you where you were staying currently, and he mentions that he thinks several travelers have just arrived at the Hanging Sword Inn, and they match the description that you had given the tavern keep. And so he's kind of holding his hand out like, hey, I think your companions are here. Reward time. And he's like a 10-year-old boy.
All right. He will give the boy a silver piece.
Oh yeah, he put it in his hand, and it's about the size of his palm. He's a small kind of 10-year-old, and his eyes go really big, and he gives you a real big smile, and then darts off with this silver piece in hand that he has.
All right.
So the swinging sword is this big building right here. You know that to be this building.
That's the swinging sword?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the shrine.
The shrine is this one, the one right to the south of it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll head over there. What time of day is it?
It is sundown, dinner time.
Okay. All right.
And then, yeah, as you walk in, it's obviously pretty packed at this point. The dinner's being served to lots of people. And then through the crowd, yeah, you see Greybeard downing a tankard of ale or a tankard of some sort. And you see Coffee sitting with him. And Coffee, you probably see Jarral come in the door as about the same time he sees you.
So I'll walk in with the hood up, and I'll just walk over to their table. They're at a table, or are they at the bar?
Yeah, where'd you guys go?
To the table, to a bar with the table.
Okay.
I'm drinking wine. I'm assuming Greybeard's got 3 pints already down.
Yeah, he's definitely into his cups.
All right. So I'll walk over.
Jarral look like a Drow to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Coffee can't hide the disdain in his face. Thankfully, he's got a veil on.
All right. So Jarral approaches the table. He kind of looks at Greybeard and then looks at Coffee, and he just doesn't seem to be phased at all. Just a consistent expression on his face, just calm, and he'll take a seat kind of equidistant between the two.
Yeah, and this, you notice right about this moment that it's only the two of them. You're not, as you maybe scan the room as you'd walked in, or you look over your shoulders at this point, you're noticing you're not seeing the others.
So Jarral says, so how was the trip? And where are the others?
Is Greybeard passed out at this point? Or is he just AFK?
I think he's AFK at the moment. So
I like passed out though.
yeah, we'll say he failed his con roll for his
He started drinking
his
way too
ale
much.
drinking.
Those 3 light beers made him pass out.
Yeah.
I say to Jarral, very eventful. Unfortunately, one of our comrades fell. You could have been useful. Did you find what you saw?
So Jarl kind of has a somber look on his face, and he nods and says, "Yes, I did." What happened? He just ignores the fact that he kind of blamed him for that.
On the road north, a cloud descended with a tower upon it. We, Finn and I started to ascend, much to the chagrin of Greybeard and Ian. And within this tower we found a cloud giant, who apparently was looking for you by name.
So Jarl kind of bristles at that, and just kind of squints his eyes like he does not like the sound of that.
The giant, whilst we were talking to the giant, a group of fell riders upon vultures came to the tower and attempted to bribe Zephyros to assist them. He went up in the tower and attempted to contact a outer planar being and was struck into a coma. The riders assumed that we did it, although I think they were just using it as an opportunity to attack, and combat ensued in which Ardreth fell, as did Finn and Ian, although we were able to stabilize them. Unfortunately, we could not for Ardreth. Zephyros, feeling guilty upon awakening, brought us to Red Larch with a great sum of money to try to restore Ardreth, which is where Finn and Ian are currently, at the temple. I accompanied the dwarf to make sure he didn't get into any trouble, and here we are.
So Jarl just kind of looks disgustedly at Greybeard. Is there anything that we can do to assist?
I don't believe so.
Is there?
We should let the priests do their work, and hopefully Ardreth will be restored.
Yes, let us hope. Is there did this, and he just kind of spits it out, did this cloud giant say why he was looking for me?
It had to do with the ordaining and certain divinations that he had done, that this group, including yourself, might be able to assist in rectifying that. Although now, after Ardreth's passing, I fear that he thinks otherwise.
I am familiar with this ordaining, but I don't know why they think that I would be able to help with anything.
I agree with you.
I don't like this. I don't like giants. This troubles me greatly.
All right. Do we want to? I think I'll cut back over to the ceremony. Jar, are you thinking you're going to stay at the inn, or do you think you would go to the temple?
So is that a question for?
Yeah, for Jarral.
Oh. He's he's going to head over to the temple to see if there's anything. He gets the feeling that he's not very welcome with Finn, and at the moment he doesn't want to be around Greybeard, so he's gonna head over. He's gonna ask where the temple is. He assumes it's the one next door.
Yeah, that's the only one that's in town. There's no other.
Yeah, so he's just gonna tell him that he's gonna go.
Okay. So yeah, after a time, that the ceremony's been already going, you kind of quietly let yourself in, and you see Ardreth is laying on a ceremonial table. There's a priest with alkalites performing a ritual. There's all kinds of ritual objects and things, incense and braziers burning, and spells and chants, and Finn and Ian are standing there solemnly, and everybody else is pretty quiet. They're not making any noise. They're just kind of there, and they're staying through the ritual. And so this ritual goes on throughout the night. They offer you water and small pieces of bread if you end up staying. If you guys end up going to the inn or going to find a room, that's fine too. But the ritual is going to continue until dawn. And as the sun rises is when the final part of the spell will hit. So just so I know who's going to be there at that time, who's going to be there just before sun rises at the ceremony.
Jarral will be in the room. I don't know if he's going to participate in the ceremony, but he will be off to the side, just kind of meditating.
Okay.
Finn will stay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be staying.
All right. We got no Greybeard back yet, so
I'll be watching Greybeard in the tavern.
okay. So we'll just jump to it then. And so you notice that the chanting is becoming more fervent. The Kupa Alani has quite a bit of sweat upon his brow. You can feel the presence of the magic in this room now. Some of you, it makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck. Some of you have this chilling in your bones. Some of you have seen this type of magic before, and maybe Finn, you even feel it actually is a feeling of joy almost for you, and it's coming from just seeing this divine type of spell, this powerful divine connection to a deity who's granting its power through one of his disciples. And so it's something you've recognized that has happened to you before when your deity has granted you power at times. And so as it's happening, Kupa Alani, he looks to you, kind of meets your eyes, Finn, and then he tells you, and you didn't even realize that you were going to have to do anything, but he looks at you and he says sternly, now call out to Ardreth. Call him now.
I will yell Ardreth's name loudly.
Okay. And as a whisper, Ardreth, while you're floating through your different hells, you hear the first time a voice that you do recognize, and you hear Finn's voice say your name. But it's very faint. It's at the back of your head, and it still's not quite enough to gain your focus. You're looking at all the things that are around you. You're contemplating your life and the decisions you've made, and it hasn't snapped you quite out of what is going on. And then the priest continues, and the chanting continues, and the flaring of the different fires that they have going in these different big brass braziers flare up, and then he stares at you, Ian, and he says, call him now.
And I do.
And then, Ardreth, you hear Ian's voice, and this time you hear your name again, and it's a little bit louder than Finn's was, and it's starting to pull your attention. And again, you actually look over your shoulders as if you might see something, but there's nothing there. There's nothing to see, and the priest again continues to chant, and he looks to Jarral across the room, and he says just as loud, he says, call to him now.
And Jarral will pause for a beat, and then open his eyes, and with the thoughts of his parents in his mind, he will yell out Ardreth's name.
And then louder you hear Ardreth's name in the back, and it makes you turn full around, Ardreth, and you actually realize now that you're at an impasse. You're at a decision. You're at a momentous moment, and you can continue to spiral down, or you can follow the thin thread that seems to be pulling you back to somewhere. You're not sure where yet, but it's pulling you away from these hells, and it's pulling you, and it's kind of egging on your feeling of vengeance, your feeling of righting wrongs that maybe you've committed or others have committed and you've not righted yet, and you get to make your decision at this point. Does Ardreth follow the thin thread back to his body, or does he continue to spiral into the hells?
So, as I sit there, I start to contemplate and think that perhaps this is the path that I earned and I deserved for all of my past actions and deeds. And then the other part of me starts to sit there and says, they're calling me back. I wonder if next time I can go deeper. And as that, I smile and follow the path and follow the voices back out.
Evil!
And so in a flashing, blinding light, it's like the moment you even make that little suggestion, and in your mind, it's almost like, okay, I'm going to have to slog my way back. I'm going to have to swim up current river, but it's actually a flash. And as the sun peaks up, it just rises, just crests the horizon. You see Ardreth's body take a huge, deep breath. All of the wounds on his body have been healed. And he lays there, eyes open, and he kind of looks around as if blinded by the light, as if he's been in the darkness for a very long time. And a very cold puff of air comes from his mouth, as if he's been breathing in absolute coldness in the deepest of winter. And then he looks to you, and Ardreth is able to step off the table fully alive once again.
Welcome back.
And at first I don't say anything. I just have kind of a slightly different look about me. But I look at Finn and say, thank you.
The priest Kupa Alani, who is now exhausted, nearly passes out from casting the spell. The power in the room begins to dissipate, but everybody can still feel. You actually feel the presence of Lathander. You feel the presence of a deity in this room, and it was through the power of that deity that it brought Ardreth back. And it was channeled through the conduit, which was Kupalani, the priest of Lathander. And he says to you, I hope it is worth it, and I hope you live a life worth living. And then he kind of begins to walk to the back where he's going to go to his chamber to rest. What is the party going to do?
How close are the other people to me as he walks away?
You're kind of sitting on the edge of a table now. Ian and Finn are probably the closest, maybe within 5 or 6 feet. And then Jarral is more back towards the back, where he was probably meditating, but I assume he's not at this point.
No, he'll try and catch. He's still sitting down, but he's gonna try and catch Ardreth's eye, and I guess does he?
So Jarral might see as the priests walk away that I mumble something, not super quiet, but I reply in some way to the priest as he walks away.
Okay, and I don't hear exactly what it is. Just that you mumble something.
Yeah, because you're further away from me, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So you aren't sure what I said?
Okay.
Did I see him?
That would be up to the DM.
Yeah, Ian and Finn are definitely close. They're within 5 feet of you.
So do I catch
sorry.
your eye? Excuse me. Sorry, a frog in my throat.
Oh no, I see you there, but I'm actually concentrated more on the priest as he walks away.
Okay.
And anyone who's close enough to listen can hear my response to the priest, which was, "Oh, one way or another, I will."
All right. So Jarral is basically gonna he's gonna nod as like a welcome back. He's not gonna say anything, and then he's gonna stand and he's going to leave.
And when Jarral does that, that's when I smile back, and you kind of see the Ardreth that you remember from when you had gone off to the monastery.
Cool. I do tell. So Ian and Finn are in the room, and Ardreth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay. So I'll mention to whoever's closest to the exit that I'll be at the. What was that inn called?
The one you're staying at?
Sword.
Yeah.
Oh, those two are at the Swinging Sword.
No, the one I was at.
You were at what was a woman's name? Wrong tab. You were staying at Mother Yolantha's.
Yolantha.
It's like Yalanthas.
Okay, so I'll tell whoever's closest to the exit that I'll be over at Mother Yolantha's, and that's where I'm gonna go.
And I'm going to look at Ian and Finn, who are the two left in the room, and I'll say, well, I'm going to assume, since we're not in the Cloud City, and that priest looked pretty damn serious, that I died.
You did. And the Cloud Giant gave us enough funding to bring you back to life.
Well, I've got a little money left myself. Sounds like a good occasion for a drink. Anyone else up for one?
I believe I'm already passed out.
It's the next morning. You're starting to wake up.
Those 3 light beers took a toll.
So I'll invite Ian and Finn for a drink.
All right.
I will accompany you.
So it is early morning. You're heading over to the inn. You see there's not a lot of people in the morning area in the inn. It's still very early. There's just a few workers, people just getting up and stoking fires. Greybeard is just kind of waking up on the bar where they just kind of left him all night long. And Coffee's there still maybe sipping a wine or just watching over him as you guys walk in.
And so you said, was my armor and other things pretty damaged? Am I in that still, or am I in like my armor sitting off to the side, or?
That would be up to them. What did you guys? How did you bring the body back?
Naked.
I don't know if we had any reason to strip him down.
So that's why Greybeard was carrying him.
Yeah, pervs.
Yeah, so you're in your armor. It is there's some damage to it. It was something that could be repaired at some point.
Okay.
But you took wounds to like maybe the killing blow was more of a wound to the neck, but that's now been healed.
Well, I'll take a look at some of the damage on my armor and grab my stuff together and just kind of say, well, shit, there goes some gold to get this fixed, but in the end, I'm alive.
Yeah, and so you guys reunite in the tavern. It is early morning at this point, and then I assume one of them tells you Jarral has went off to where he was staying. And what is your plan?
We should probably stay here for the day and let Ardreth rest up before we move up to Tribor.
Ardreth feels fantastic.
Oh, does he? There's no penalty for this for Raised Dead?
Yeah, I
No,
thought
he-
they were
he-
exhausted after they come back.
The power of the god has reinvigorated him.
Oh.
And though if he got into a fight, there might be, he might get tired again pretty quickly. He's got the idea of you're a man who has just cheated the depths of hell, and you're back, and you have that kind of euphoria that, haha, I still live another day.
It's not that I don't want to walk all the way on the long road, but we could always just take the griffins back to the Cloud Castle and have Zephyros ferry us the rest of the way.
I think that's good, considering that's what he expected us to do.
That's true. Sure. So drink here, then go back.
Works
Sounds
for me.
good.
All right.
We could, if there's some place in town that could do repairs on the armor, maybe we could have that done while we're relaxing in the tavern for a day.
Yeah, the town has just about everything that you would think of. The armories, there's a tannery here. Getting leather armor fixed would be very simple. Wouldn't even take that long. There's plenty of places here to do those things. If you want, you can just go ahead and leather armor. So it'd probably just cost a gold piece to fix it. That's what you have, right, Ardreth?
Yep.
Yeah, it would just cost a gold to fix
Okay.
what damage is there to it. And they'll clean it up. They'll oil it down. They'll, put all the things on it that'll keep it nice and supple and protected the way it should be. And you're back up and running.
Supple.
Anything else anybody wants?
I just want to find like a simple twine or a simple like sturdy chain, something that you can hang something off of.
Yeah, you can find that for, there's like in the middle of the town, what starts to set up throughout the day are these like little wagon shops and little, it's kind of like a little free market-y area. And yeah, you can find like, there's all kinds of, there's twine, strings, yarns, even pretty cheap silver chain, copper chain, gold chain, but the stuff that maybe costs 5 or 6 copper, nothing that's too extravagant. If you want to go to a jeweler, you can get something that's more expensive.
No, just something that like won't break easily or like super easily. Like if it gets yanked, that's fine. But just
Yeah.
something that will carry.
You can find some like some silk cord. Yeah, just you can spend 5 copper. You'd find that pretty easy.
All right.
So you can spend that.
Will do.
Jarral, you can go ahead and spend just 2 silver for your 2-night stay. Would be all that you owe, and then maybe, depending on how you ate, anywhere from 1 silver, unless you went a little crazy as far as what you ordered to eat and drink. So you can add
you would
another
have
silver in.
Okay.
Yeah. Greybeard, you would have drank quite a bit of ales, so you might have went through 4 or 5 silver worth of drinking.
Duly noted.
And same for coffee, you probably went through 1 or 2 silver worth of drinks. Anybody else need to do any shopping while we're here at Red Larch?
Negative.
I'm good.
Okay.
All good.
So I assume the group heads back out down the west road.
Sorry, Jarral's gonna try and find some parchment so that he can kind of do some mapping.
Sure. Let's see. What would that be?
I realized he didn't have anything to write on. He's got the cartographer's tools, but he doesn't have anything to write on.
Yeah. What would parchment be? I'm not seeing it. So let's just go with.
I think it's like paper. It's like 10 sheets or something like that.
Yeah, we'll just go with 5 silver for now.
Okay.
If I eventually find it,
I'll take a look.
price, but yeah. All right. So yeah. So you have some parchment that you can write down. And so you guys head back down the Keldell path. Anything else?
Yeah, just need to get out far enough into the country where we won't freak everybody out with a squad of vicious griffins.
Yeah, you're able to find that same clearing again, and there's nothing. You're about 100 yards off the road to the north side of the road. You're in the same clearing that you set down in, and then Coffee, you can take out the silver whistle again, and you blow on it. None of you hear anything from it, and then you wait probably 5 minutes, and you off in the distance you see the descending very rapidly the 4 griffins.
So Jarral watches curiously as the whistle blows, and he doesn't hear anything, and he just kind of looks around like, did nobody else not hear anything? But he doesn't say anything. And then he points out that there's some birds coming.
Yeah, and they're diving down fast, and by the time you realize they're not just big birds, that they're obviously something else, they're already kind of slamming to the ground and landing, and then they're just sitting there waiting and looking at you guys, waiting for you to board.
All right.
And you see before you draw the 4 griffins that have landed now in this clearing.
He's gotten himself into a defensive position.
I'm already on my way to jump on one.
Okay.
And as I guess he watches Ian hop onto one, he's like, "What is going on?"
I'll jump onto another one and then motion for you to jump up behind me.
Coffee gets on his own.
Going for a ride.
Get on the other one, I guess.
Jarral's gonna shake his head and back away.
Listen, if an earth being like me can ride one, you can too. Come on. Don't make me sprinkle pixie dust on you.
He is. He takes a step back to where he was, but is holding his ground. He said, "I am not getting on a bird."
Jarral, I will knock you out and throw you on the back of one of these. It's either that, or you get on willingly.
Come on, they're perfectly safe. Can I attempt to persuade you?
Perfectly safe.
Yeah, persuasion roll. Do it. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, the silver-tongued bard.
I'll try to persuade him as well.
So
no
your
different
friends are
than
giving
sitting
you
in a
words of
chair.
comfort.
I say enough of this, and I cast sleep on him.
I don't think it works on him, does it?
Yeah.
It actually,
It would not
that's right.
know.
It does
No,
not.
it wouldn't work.
So he so he shoots Finn a look like, you're wasting your time. To Coffee, he just shoots like a look of death for even attempting that. And to Ardreth, does Ardreth have his own bird?
Yeah. Right now he does, yeah.
Alright, so just because of what transpired the previous night, he will hop on behind Ardreth and he will grab on very tightly to him.
Yeah. Okay. So our calm, cool, collected monk
Does not like heights.
that facade has broken a tiny bit. You guys climb on board the griffins once again, and you can tie the ropes on to secure handholds.
Under my breath, whoever's near me can hear me say, "Even the dead man is braver than this drow."
And with that, the swoosh of wings flap, and it's like your stomach hits your throat. And for those of you that are enjoying it, it's like the greatest ride you've ever been on. For those that you hate it even more now, as you see the ground skyrocket down below you, and you think to yourself, maybe I shouldn't be looking down, but you're fascinated by it. And they streak into the air, and they head back up towards the clouds where the tower is.
Jarral does not look down. He looks straight at the back of Ardreth's head the whole time. And as they're flying through the air after takeoff, he just grits his teeth and yells, "This is not natural!" And that's all.
I just finally stopped laughing because the Mr. T thing. Oh my god. I ain't going on no griffin fitting.
Halfway up in the air towards the cloud, I'll start shifting in my seat a little bit like I'm slipping just to have some fun with Jarral.
Oh, that's not right.
Whoa! Good. Still holding on back there,
Yeah, you're going to hell.
He's gonna anchor himself with daggers in you.
So the trip is short, and you guys arrive back. And again, this is the first time Jarral is seeing it, but they land on the outside of the tower. You land on a cloud, and on this cloud sits a giant 300-foot tower. As you climb off the backs of these griffins, and then they fly back up to the roost, and we'll move you back over to our tower.
As Jarral gets off the bird, he says, "I do not like heights, but I like giants even less."
And as you're saying that, Zephyros comes out to greet you. And now we can get rid of all this other extra stuff now. And you guys are back on the cloud tower. And I guess we can take the death mark off Ardreth as he has returned.
There was much rejoicing.
And Jarral is with us. All right. And Zephyros has a big smile on his face, and because he sees that Ardreth is back, and he comes bounding out and he says, "I see you were successful. Thank the gods."
Yes, and I regret to inform you that the amount that you gave us was the exact amount that the two priests required for the resurrection, or the raising of Ardreth.
He says, "Worry not about that. I would have given you more had it been needed." He says, "Now let us be on our way so that I can stop meddling with the affairs that I should not be meddling with." And he says, "Oh, I see you have found your companion." And he walks over and he stands in front of you, Jarral.
And I back away as he approaches.
And he inspects you like you're an interesting bug in a jovial way. And he says, "I've not seen one of your skin tone before."
I just have a stern look on my face. Your kind have.
He says, "Yes, there are many of those cloud giants that do not follow the ways of thinking that some of us more civilized ones do. And we are sorry that they do at times impact the small folk such as yourself, but please don't hold me to their sins.
That will be very difficult to do.
And kind of with a smirk and an knowing smile, he kind of says, and I'm sure that's something you have to deal with.
Jarral, we've looked past the issues with your race. Perhaps you could look past your problems with Zephyros.
He'll
the Drow are no friends to the surface dwellers, and yet we accept you.
He'll pause, and he will look at you and say, giants killed my parents.
Again, not this giant.
And your ancestors killed my ancestors. We live in the world where we kill each other.
And we judge you by your actions, not your race.
And this one is proven not to be malicious.
I do not expect you to understand very well.
He did spend his hard-earned gold to bring me back.
He was also the one who got you killed.
Well, that was a big vulture that you weren't here to see, of course.
He's just gonna keep his mouth shut.
I'm not comfortable standing on the clouds. I'm gonna get some solid stone beneath my feet.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same.
Yeah, and as everybody walks away, this is the moment that Jarral realizes that his feet are on cloud.
Yep, and he just does a very brisk walk.
Your skin tone is slightly greenish. And all right, so Zephyros tells all of you, I will get us underway immediately. I believe we're still only 3 or 4 days away, and then I will drop you off, and then I will meddle in your affairs no longer, and I will wish you luck and watch you from afar, but we will continue and get you back on your way.
And since I am closest to, I guess that's Finn.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ask, why are we here?
Honestly, he found us on the road north, and we partook of his hospitality. I'm assuming that you've heard the story of the attack on him after we arrived.
I've heard of the attack, but I don't know why. Why is he looking for me? Why any of us?
Your name came to him in a vision. And while our names did not come, he had a reasonably good description of all of us as being able to help. I don't know if the word mending the ordning would be right, but put back into place the rules that the giants should be following but are not.
Okay, so he's gonna yell to Zephyros, or
he's up on the second level. So he's 100 feet above. You watched him float up on a disc about 100 feet up into the ceiling, and he's up on a second floor that you can't quite see. I mean, he could hear if you yell.
Is there a disc there?
No.
Okay. I'm assuming it doesn't come down.
No, it stays up there. If you're going to yell something, he'll be able to hear you, but or are you calling him down?
No, I was gonna go up. All right.
No, you don't see any way up.
So I'll go to where the desk would, the edge of where it would be, and I'll yell up, "Why am I here?"
And you kind of see him peek over the edge, and the tower stops moving once again as he's peeking over the edge, and he comes to it, and he just kind of shouts down to you. What do you mean? Why are you here?
You came on the griffin.
Yeah, he seems confused. Like you volunteered to come, right? You.
Why did you seek me out?
I was seeking all of you to help along the path to see if we could influence the fixing of the ordning. But I realized that I should not have meddled, so now I'm taking you to where you should be so that you can continue on without my meddling.
Jarral grunts and just walks back away.
Okay. And you feel he kind of disappears up there again, and you feel the tower resume speeding along the sky, heading towards the north.